Okay, no more than about 2 minutes ago that I talked to you. It's already starting to rain, so it's light. Okay, so the 10 by 20 Ozark Trail tent is up. Welcome to Time by the Tent. Thank you for joining me for another weekend here up at the land. Just got here, 65 degrees. Spring is here, light wind. Tonight I think it's supposed to get down to maybe high 40s, low 50s. So it's very nice. Was not up here last week because it was calling for rain. By the time the rain was going to happen, they pulled out of the forecast, and just other things were scheduled. So I've got to bring a lot of stuff up from the car. We did get rain over the past week, 2 weeks, which has settled this down quite nicely. This is where the second tent is going to go. I don't think I need to do much leveling. I mean, it's not a patio, but there's some ups and flows and ups and downs, but I will construct that and then cut a doorway out of the back of that tent in order to get to this tent. Whole process, never been done before. Two Ozark Trail wall tents combined that I'm aware of. Maybe a new thing. So, just a nice day. Spring is here, and then a lot of jobs to be done. Not going to get them all done, but the tent is the priority today because they were calling for rain this afternoon, and now they've pulled a lot of that out. So, alrighty. Had to put up our flag from eaglemountainflag.com. Looks good over the camp. Alright, now I gotta get stuff out of the car. Okay, so I left some stuff in the car because it's not stuff that goes in the big tent whenever I get the tent put up. However, in about 40 minutes, we're going to get dumped on by a really big red cell of thunderstorms coming through that was projected to break up, but it's not, so whatever. So, I'm going to kind of put anything away that I see. I can put some of the stuff in the storage tent, the wagon, the gun I can put in there. So just kind of pick up a few things, and there's not really anything I can do until the rain passes, and then I will put the tent up tomorrow because that will allow the soil to dry a little bit more before I put the tent up. So bugs are out. A lot of like house flies flying around and gnats. And I've already pulled 4 ticks off of me in just a little bit that I've done around camp, and I walked down to the water, you saw that. So those are out, and those are big ticks, so those are easy to find. But that's where we're at. Thanks for coming along with me. We'll get a few more things accomplished here and wait for the rain to pass, and then I do need to fill that lantern there with kerosene, and I guess I can top off these other lanterns. And I've got one more right here. Oh, I have one over here on that tree there. So, okay, no more than about 2 minutes ago that I talked to you. It's already starting to rain, so it's light, and that's what it is. So we'll just go in the tent, and a very, very unorganized, messy tent, because most of this, or a lot of this, over there is going to get organized over there. I do have one of two cabinet storage. It's 18 inches wide. It's got a drawer and a little cabinet, or a little slide out thing, and a drawer where I can put stuff in. One's very well made. That's still at the house. This one is like off the side of a desk, but it'll work very good for what we need. It's that particle board. So by the end of the season, like in November, if it's muck, in the fire it goes, and it didn't cost me anything. It was a free item. During a rainstorm, this is the advantage of having TV with power station, DVD player. I did bring up, where they at? Oh, down in that pile there, handful of turkey hunting DVDs. I am going to put some, I've got some like aluminum foil that's no longer good for aluminum foil purposes. I'm going to try to see if I can pick up more than the 12 stations that we currently are getting. I don't think we will with this setup here, but it's worth a shot. Instead of just recycling the aluminum foil, I can try it with this little experiment and see what happens. Now, this is only temporary because this is all going to be moved into the big tent, which will be back there, and this will be more of the, I don't know, dinner table, kitchen area. Still to be determined. So I'll play around with this for a while. You can hear the rain. It's just going to get more intense. So still raining. It's not downpour hard like the radar indicates that it's supposed to be, but so I added a coax cable to the TV, put it at the peak of the tent, added all the old aluminum foil I had, and we still are only getting 12 channels, but the 12 channels that we are getting are pristine, and I really didn't think, based on the different websites that I looked at and our location, unless we go with an outside antenna at about 20 feet that has a large antenna, we're probably not going to pick up anything more than what we're getting. So we got ABC, Fox, and a couple of off channels, off-brand channels, local channels, a cartoon channel, three home shopping channels. So, and a crime channel, a court TV channel. So, with no CW or Fox or CBS, but we got what we got. So we do have a little reception, and that's what it is. It's not like we're having satellite up here or anything like that. But 12 channels we got, good, and I'm just kind of doing nothing right now, waiting for the rain to stop. So the big rain is over. It stopped raining for like 5 minutes, and now it's now sprinkling or raining again. So I've been watching, for those who follow and remember back in the day, Realtree Road Trips Season 4. I think they had 8 seasons with Michael Waddell. Anyway, he hunting elk and antelope and whitetail deer. I did start the fire, just take some of the dampness out. It is 60 degrees in here in that corner, so I just would like, just kind of dampness. It's not cold, it's just damp. So got the fire going, and always I can let it go out. So it's still spit, spat, and rain. I've got it up to 72 in the tent, and just kind of waiting for the rain to kind of go away. Got a couple of projects I can do here, but until the rain stops, I really don't want to get out here and do too many things. So just kind of waiting it out. It's one thing whenever you go to like a state camp and it's raining, and let's say, we took that wall tent state camping probably about 6 times, 10 by 12. A lot of room. You can bring your food. You prepare it out the campfire, bring it in. There's a lot of areas to set up inside. Obviously, we didn't bring as much stuff as in there now. I mean, the bed and some shelving, and that was pretty much it, and the outdoor chairs. But you could go in there and sit and relax when it was raining. But in this situation, where you've got a permanent campsite on your land, even if we had a cabin there, you're going, okay, I came up here, there's a list of things I want to get done, and I can't really do anything until it stops raining. So it's a little different. It's a campsite or state, you just kind of sit there and watch the rain. Here you're kind of like, okay, it's nice it rained, but I want to get stuff done. So I cut notches out of these setting stools simply so you can get in there and I can maneuver around, and it becomes much more easy in order to do that, to lift them. Nothing, no measurement. It's elm. If they go bad, they can go in the fire. I've got 40 acres of more wood that I can cut to make new stools. So it was just something that was very difficult to move around. They'd roll, and there wasn't a good way to pick them up. So that fixes that issue. And I would like to, and I don't know if that's ever going to come to creation, is make another one of these benches like this, but a little wider, and then have a back on it. Have a foot wide chunk, and then have much larger pillars on both sides, and then mill a piece that would go on the back like a love seat, and it would go right here. It's a lot of weight, a lot of wood. I do have some trees that are down, that beavers took down years ago, that's over there. That is an option for that. That tree also is planned to be used for some additional things in the new tent. So that is to be determined. All right, now I guess since the rain is kind of stopped, I'm going to top off these lanterns. You don't need to see that. You know how to fill a lantern. But that is the next thing. Also, I put up the hydration station. I will fill that with water and the storage water that we bring up. Took a walk here. Tent's just that way, 175 yards. Took a walk down here by this pond, lagoon, swamp area. Got my long lens camera, the 75 300 millimeter zoom, and got a picture of I believe it was a mallard. Let's see how it turns out. I mean, it's not like film where I have to wait 2 weeks. If it's any good, you'll see it here. I had to sneak up on it through the trees. So going over here to look at this log that I talked about that the beavers cut down. I'm just going to head, oh, I got 2 ducks way over there. So I'm going to go look at this log the beavers cut down and walk to the water's edge and see what I can see, if anything. For supper, chicken sausages, and then I've got mushrooms and a green pepper sauteing and the cast iron, or like a stir-fry type thing. I'll let that cook for a while and then I'll put the sausages on. Other than that, it's just kind of a wet, light, windy evening. A lot of frogs. Other than that, that's all the activity. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Supposed to be 66, 67, full sun. So I should be able to knock out a lot of things. Stir fry or mushroom, peppers sauteed in butter, chicken sausages, and some rolls there. I'll put a little barbecue sauce on those. So that's what's for supper. A very uneventful day 1. Tomorrow, beautiful day coming. A lot of things to do. I gotta cut a piece of wood down there for the TV, DVD stand, put the tent up, hang some no trespassing signs, make a walk in the woods, take the rest of the stuff out of the car and put it in the tent. A lot of stuff. So not as much as you would think, but it'll be a full day. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, settling in for the night. Just kind of working on some different things that need to get done. I got a couple of Cabela Bass Pro catalogs. Not going to order anything, but can look. Usually I'll try to make something if I need something. For example, right here, needed a knee gun rest for turkey hunting. So instead of paying whatever it is to buy one, just took some pieces of wood and some carpet and a strap and painted it and made it, and it's going to work just fine. So stuff like that. So I will see you in the morning. Thanks for hanging out with me. Glad you could come along on this trip up to the land this weekend. And we'll get after it in the morning. Hello and good morning. Been up since probably about 5 o'clock. Woods was lively this morning. Here's a little bit of what that sounded like. And it got down to about 42 in the tent. They were calling for 37 for a low, so I stoked the fire and it's back up to 61 right now. Bright sunny day. I've already been out several times. Need to get the fire going in order to get some eggs cooking. It's a little chilly out right now. Warm, or a high of calling for 67. We are currently 40. I hear grouse drumming over in that pine grove, those small pine trees there. Some nights you can hear it all night long. Last night I couldn't hear it till sun up. Then we had one turkey gobbling over there this morning. Last time I was up here, there was two over in that direction, one possibly two real close over here, and then there was one way back there. I have turkey tags for this upcoming, for the second, third, or whatever it is, 8th of May to the 15th, and I think it's the 16th to the 22nd, the 23rd to the 28th. I've got the last 3 weeks. I've got a tag for each week, so we'll see how turkey camp goes. Cooking eggs. It's the stuff here in the bottle. Holly had it, so went ahead and brought it up. We didn't have any eggs, so that is what I'm having. I think that probably will be all for breakfast. Nice day. And then I did bring up this log here, which apparently I had cut last year. I will knock the top part off for firewood, and the bottom part is for a floor lamp, and that'll be the base. And it's a whole little deal, so that'll work out well. I think I'm going to put the tent up this afternoon when it warms up more, and a little more dryness will happen. It's never going to be perfectly dry back there, but as much as I can get dry before I put the floor down, I can work on other projects here. Everything is really, really a heavy dew. I know last night they were saying on the news that mid-late evening, visibility was down to a little less than 2 miles in some spots, and then that had cleared out and it was up to 10 at like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So really heavy dew, no clouds at all. And the trees are, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, trees are starting to bud out. That one over there is more. Alright, I'm currently working on, this was the rinse off area last year. Gonna make it a little bit better. Gonna have 4 posts and then camouflage mesh or netting around it, 3 sides of the shower curtain, so it's not so out there. This is a tree that we're going to use. I'm going to use as a corner post. Now this is not going to get all constructed yet. I'm just getting the general layout. 4 foot by 4 foot by 6 foot tall type of thing. Little outdoor rinse off. And then over here is going to be, I'm leveling this off here because that's where the burner, the pot, and the water is going to be with the pump that will have a shower head that you can rinse off inside. So it'll run off propane like one of those turkey roasting butane stands. That'll go there. I've already got the pot. We have a big pot that we've had for years and never used. And then that'll be the rinse off station where you can get completely rinsed off and hot water and the whole deal. So another little project we're working on at the moment. All right, got the 3 post holes dug for the supporting post for the rinse off area. It's not a permanent structure. That was the worst one. There had a lot of roots to work through. And then that tree is going to be the 4th one. So I've got to go down and find down by the lower area where the pond, lagoon, lake, swamp is, and figure out the measurements I need and find some trees, some pine trees that are dead there that I can knock down, cut, and then bring up and set in here. Again, this is not a permanent, this is a temporary situation that will look permanent, I guess is the best way to do it. That's why I'm not going to char the bottom of these posts. I've got plenty of trees. If these rot off in 3 or 4 years, pull them out, put new ones in. A lot of things will change in that time. So that's I'll go down and get those. You don't need to come down. When I get them, I'll show you what I've got done when I get the post set there. Again, doesn't have to be level, doesn't have to be parallel or plumb, just needs to be 4 posts. Then I'll add some supporting logs, very small logs around it when I have screws, and then put the netting over it and it's done. Down by this lake, swampy reservoir, or whatever you want to call it, just the way the lay of the land, got a lot of pine trees and other trees that I'm not familiar with. A lot of it's going to be firewood. It's just hauling it up the hill because up there is camp. And I don't know what kind of wood this is, but it's a really sweet smelling wood. I took a picture of the bark to identify it, but that is going to be the TV stand for the new tent. It's soft in the center, which is reducing the weight by like 50 pounds, but it's still like 150 pounds, no joke. So that's why I brought the wagon down here, and I'm just going to cut across and then go up. Kind of clean it up and get the right measurement, and I might finish modifying it on a different day, but I wanted to get it up there today. Okay, so since you last saw me, it's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I did a couple of other things. I did bring, there's 1, 2, and then I threw the 3rd one in the hole. I'll tamp that down before I leave. Also the top, I don't like to waste these trees, so the top gets bad lighting, but the top will get chopped up and through for firewood. And then I have a smaller right here and right there, and possibly this one here if needed, for support for framing. Have a, you have your 2 posts, then you have a beam running across the top and about 1 foot off the ground to kind of lock it in, and there'd be a frame all the way around the top, but only on 3 sides on the bottom because you got to get in somehow. That will be secondary. I will not do that today. I will get the post put in, and then when I bring the drill and screws up, then I can start notching and putting all that together. Additionally, I got, you saw is down there. I did get it up here. It's extremely heavy. There is some moisture to it. The center, not the happiest. I did take a cross cut of it beyond where that piece was, and that is what it looks like. I cleaned all the muck out of it. A lot of good wood there. Now I will not clean the muck out of that one. I am going to try to notch an area for the DVD player to set in high enough that it will still receive signal from the remote from the bed. Looks like a heart. Cleaned it up. I'll give that to Holly. She will already have this by the time you see this. We can put it on a shelf on one of our antique radios, and she can put a trinket in it that I gave her or something. But it's a heart log. So I'm going to get the fire going. I have leftovers from last night. There's a tip for you. If you have a permanent campsite, tent or cabin or lodge or whatever, always have Tupperware at your camp. So when you have leftovers, you have somewhere to put them so you can eat them later. So that's what I will do. You've seen a fire get started. After I get the fire started and eat, I will then put those posts in, and you can help me with that. And then we will put the back tent up, or the second tent up. I will not cut the back door out of the first tent today, just simply because I'm going to be out of time, and I want to get it really secure. So what I will do is I will put the second tent up, lock it down solid, and walk away, and then come back next week after I get done turkey hunting, and then I will cut the frame out of that. Not the frame, cut the doorway out of this tent. And the best way to do it is on the inside of this seam here, and then I'll go up and I'll come across, and the same thing, I will go as low as I can. There is a flap. It's hard to see in the back, but you can see on the flap here. I would cut above that so there still is some structural integrity to this back, the back side here. If I went all the way up and went all the way down, it would just spring out and I would have no structural support. So I'm wanting to keep that, and that also will give me area here and here to put things like a normal room. You have a doorway, and then you can put stuff on each side of the door. And I'll get that all done, bring the chair and the cabinet up from the car and set in there. When I lay the floor down, I will put the tiles down, as many tiles as I have, just because let's do it right the first time. And if nothing else, I will pack everything up at the time for me to leave, and I'll make a walk. I'll take 15-20 minutes and walk in the woods over there, just see if I can see anything, if there is anything. Turkeys, again, as you heard, or as I explained, they were over there this morning, not over there. At least one was. So I'm not going to disturb. I'm not going to disturb it anyway, but just to make a walk over. I haven't been over there for. I think I was over there. Yeah, I was over there 2 weeks ago, but like to make a walk and loop. All right, gets fire going. I'll see you over. You eat too, and I'll see you at the rinse off station to set those posts, and then you can help me put the tent in. Alright, well, I was going to work on the shower thing, but I wanted to kind of get this done first. This is the TV DVD stand. The initial plan was, and I showed you earlier, the more I touched, the more and slime and just gunk came out. I'm down about 6-7 inches there. There is some in there, but it's not bad, and I figured might as well get it out. Anyway, and the plan was to find something wide enough in which I could cut a notch or a window in it, and then have an open spot you could see through where the DVD player would slide in there. This was not as big as I had thought I had measured, and if it was any bigger, it would have been almost impossible to get it up here to the tent. So I went down and I found a pine log that had fell. It's not the greatest, but again, both of these are not 20 to 30 year pieces of furniture. At most 2 to 3 years type thing, and when they go bad or I need a new one, I've got 40 acres to pick from to get another one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove the bark from that, clean up all the limbs coming off of there, and then that would sit in front of the TV. I took this in the tent and put the TV on because there's too many things to disconnect with the TV, and I think that would be fine. I think also, yeah, I think that'll be good. When I get that all done, I'll show you, and then we will get to the shower, rinse off thing, and get the tent up. Alright, final product. TV sits there. DVD player sits there. Cables all run behind. I also notched out a spot where we can put 6 DVDs. And again, when this goes rotten or goes, you know, we want a different one, I can just go out and get another log, cut it, and do the same thing. It's got to dry. The bark is where the bark was. It was pretty damp, and then got the hole there the TV will set on. And then when we take the tent down, we'll just lay these on the ground, and if they're still good next spring, then we'll use them. If not, I will get more. So let us put the tent up now, just so we make sure we have plenty of time to get it done before I leave. Now, if the shower doesn't get done, that can be, or the rinse off area, then that can be a next week project. Well, so far the frame, the floor is down. I had a box of tiles. I'm not going to dig the ones out of the storage tank yet. That can be another time. Frames all together, and it appears I've got all the right components. I've read some reviews where certain parts were missing. It's a 2-box order. One is the tent and the floor, and the other is the framework. Total of 150 pounds. And some people would say they got the tent and the floor, but no framework, and vice versa, but we got everything. So now I need to take that, the tent itself, and drape it over, and then work my way across by putting the legs in and not getting anything twisted up or bent. So, and then before I seal it down, I will go to the car and get the items that's in the car that's supposed to be in this tent, slide them under, and then seal this off. And I think the way it's sitting here should be pretty close. I know that's got to be, that's a little tighter, but I want to get it sealed up today. Rain's coming Tuesday, and then I'll be back up here, I believe, Friday afternoon to turkey hunt, and Friday evening, and then Saturday, or until I get tagged filled, and then I can work on this project. Black, I guess it's the black flies are really bad. Of course, we weren't up here. We didn't buy the property until July of last year, so we missed all of this. We were up here in March looking at the April looking at the property, and then we didn't close until July. So this is all new bugs and weather and all this stuff in the spring. So the 10 by 20 Ozark Trail tent is up. Again, I'm not going to cut that until I come back next week, just so I can focus on getting it done correctly. I do need to strap it down, or tie it down with the straps. The only thing that is different about the 10 by 20 versus the 10 by 12 is the windows all open from the outside. And you think, oh, I've got it inverted. No, because the stove jack, that's the way the stove jack's supposed to be. And the door is correct with the zipper and the netting. The outside and then the netting on the inside. So that's kind of a goofy design, but anyway. So I did bring the stuff up in the car, the 3 items I had left. This thing here, which is like off of a desk. It's kind of made of that particle board stuff, but if it gets to the point where it's junk in the fire, it will go, but it will work quite well. Did have a hole, so I used a canning lid to seal that off. Floor lamp, which we can run off battery pack and an inverter or the Jackery or the Blue Yeti, and a really comfy chair. All 3 of these are free items. That, the cabinet and the light along the side of the road on junk day, and the chair free on Marketplace. So in the future I'll do a video of all the free items that we have acquired over the last 10 years that we've just never thrown away and thought there would be a purpose for that we're using up here. So now I will seal this down and then strap it down and call this project good until I get back next week. I'll show you the outside. Alright, there's the old one, 10 by 12. Here's the new one, 10 by 20. And then I'm still, before I leave, I gotta seal this off. I'm gonna do that with some 6mm plastic folded over. I think I've got a plan, because you can see this side is slightly higher than this, which I expected it not to be the same height. So I'll work on that and get it all strapped down. Also, whenever I was looking for wood yesterday, massive rock here that'll go around the campfire. So always on the lookout for those to replace the smaller ones we have. Right there, replaced it. Now we're starting to get some decent sized rocks. Just looking around as I walk through the property. Okay, so the 2 tents are, at least for now, temporarily sealed, so there won't be water getting between the two, at least on the roof. It was easy to do as far as you could reach on both sides. Then I ran out of duct tape, gray, which I don't care what color. So then I would take a strip, reach up, lay it down, and then I would work it up and try to fill the gap. So this could all be for naught, or this could be a permanent, all-season fix. Now, we still have gap there. That's not a concern to me, because I knew if I would lay, like, let's say, a broom handle in that gap, the water would hit the top and then run to the bottom and drip down between the tents. So that is complete. The tent is secure. And we'll cut the door in next week. I tried to use plastic. It probably would have worked, but again, I'd have the same issue of sticking it, adhering it to the tarp, or the tent, and it doesn't adhere that great. Tape doesn't stick that great to the tent, and with that, I don't think there's a good answer, but this seems to be, this would be the work. This will work for, we got rain coming in on Tuesday, like a ½ inch, so next week I'll come and see how well this has worked. Okay, quickly before I go, I'm going to put those supporting posts in for the rinse-off area, because again, the rain's going to come and those holes are already dug. So meet me over there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. Are they plumb? Are they level? Because again, this is a temporary fix, or a temporary structure for a temporary thing. A rinse-off area, just so we can throw a camouflage netting up. And again, there'd be another one running this way, and at the top, another one running there, and that's where that netting would attach to a zip tie. This I can get rid of, I think, but I'm just going to leave it there because I don't have time to get rid of it. And we're just going to backfill. That tree came in handy there. Alrighty, I think it's time to pick things up, and I think we're about done for the weekend. Well, that will do it. A very productive weekend here up at the land. Got the tent done, got the poles for the rinse-off area done, got the TV and DVD stand made. Yesterday was kind of a lost day because of the rain, but we made up for it. I didn't make it over to the other side to walk the land, walk some in the woods, but we'll do that next week. So I'll get the security camera turned on. Until next time, thanks for watching. Be sure you like, subscribe, and let's put tent in the comments below to let me know that the 6 of you that have made it this far, T-E-N-T. Appreciate your support and joining me each weekend here up at the land. So until next time, I'll see you then.